name's Ann-Marie and I'm a specialist teacher assessor. My job role is to coordinate the support for students, do diagnostic assessments and assessments for exam access arrangements from entry level to higher education. When I first see a student who's experiencing difficulties with literacy, we'll have a chat about the different types of support available, including text-to-speech software. I'll explain what it is and how it works and ask if it's something they think they'd be interested in trying. I'd then refer the student to our assistive technologist to set up some training on the software. I'll also notify the teachers that the student is going to be using text-to-speech software and ask them to provide electronic reading materials. When I'm assessing a student for exam access arrangements, I'm obviously looking to provide the most appropriate arrangements for their needs. If the student is eligible for a reader in exams, i.e. they achieve a standardised score of 84 or less for either reading accuracy, reading comprehension or reading speed, and they're using text-to-speech as part of their normal way of working, we'll look at putting in a computer reader as an exam access arrangement, mainly for those exams with a lot of written text. The request for a computer reader is then sent to our exams team for them to apply to the exam board. So, what are the advantages? Why should we bother? Firstly, for many students experiencing literacy difficulties, the barrier to their reading is often in decoding the words. Once they know what the words say, they can get on with the assessed task of comprehension. The role of a human reader is to remove this barrier of decoding. With a computer reader though, the student can work independently without having to rely on a human being to do this task for them. In our research, we received some surprising feedback from students. They were overwhelmingly telling us that often they felt uncomfortable about asking a human reader for help. They felt they were being a nuisance if they had to ask several times. They felt embarrassed about keep having to ask, and many students said that would deter them from using the human reader. The computer reader, they said, removed all of these barriers. Here's just a small sample of quotes from students. I prefer it reading to me because in exams I don't like putting my hand up and asking for it to be read out. Another student said, I used to have a shared reader but now I don't have to keep waiting for that person to come free. I used to feel embarrassed to put my hand up and asking for something to be read, but this helps you to be independent. Another student said, I don't think I would have taken up the offer of a human reader. There is a stigma to not being able to read, so I don't think I would have taken up the offer. Being offered a computer reader takes away the embarrassment or the stigma that you require someone to sit with you in the exam to read the question. A second advantage to the student is with regard to the GCSE English exam. In the reading paper, students are not allowed a human reader because the paper is assessing their reading. However, under the exam board regulations, they are allowed a computer reader. Now, the justification for this, according to the Joint Council for Qualifications, is that a computer reader and a human reader don't interpret text in the same way. A human reader reads with intonation and meaning, which might affect a candidate's response and therefore compromise the assessment. A computer reader allows the candidate to work independently to meet the reading standards. Here's what some students said about using a computer reader in the GCSE English reading paper. The mock exam went really well using the software. I got a grade C and I've never had a C on a paper before. I'm really pleased. It's made me feel like I can actually finally get my grade C in English. I feel really happy about going into the real exam with the software. This is my 4th attempt and I really didn't think I was going to get my English qualification, but I feel it's all worthwhile. Another student said, you're a lot more confident in the reading paper, you get a lot more understanding of the paper and the answers. And another student said, I didn't do GCSE English at high school. It's helping with the reading paper. It very much makes a difference with my confidence in doing GCSE English. It will be a bit harder to do English without the software. As a specialist teacher, I think we're doing our learners a disservice if we do not at least give them the option of using technology as part of their support package. Whether we like it or not, technology is here to stay, and the student needs to make informed choices about the most appropriate support for them and take some control of their support and their learning. Anything that helps the student to become more independent as a learner must be a good thing. They're only with us for a few years and we need to prepare them for progression and their future, whether that is further study, employment or university. This means that we, as SENCOs, specialist teachers and assessors, need to have some awareness and understanding of these technology tools so that we can demonstrate their potential benefits to our learners to enable them to make choices. Even if we just know about one or two simple pieces of software, it could transform a student's learning experience. It's our job to address these barriers to learning, and some very simple technology tools are proving very effective in doing this. So I'll leave the final words to one of our students who said, "I wasn't expecting it to do as much as it does. When I first started using reading software, I just sat back and thought, how is it so easy all of a sudden? It was quite an odd sensation to be able to sit down and do a task without the burden and exhaustion of having to read and try to understand what the task is. It takes away that part that is dyslexia and allows me to be like everyone else. It just allows me to do the task."